We are, I think, at the right spot. We're gonna be, we're meeting Brad in just a few minutes here, and I'm not entirely sure if we got the right place, but I hope so. So we did find it, and then we started filming, but that's when we had our technical problems. So we're gonna pick up here where we've already kind of seen a few things, but I want to show you a few clips, so let's check it out.
Bee pheromones? And wax, and yeah, and honey, nectar.
If I get closer to the opening, will they be upset?
Well, it's the ones that are coming in. You're actually blocking them with your body right now. That's when they filter off to the side. They fly straight out and they'll go up.
I knew that. I'm bee savvy.
Yeah. Just go to the smoking cabin. Let's go in there.
We're doing a little smoke to try and calm them down a bit.
All right, so that's the smoke.
Okay,
down.
now that I'm taking the case off, I can actually see the questions. If anybody's got some questions, you can just post them into the chat, and I'll relay the questions.
Should we give it a minute? Give it a minute. So this is a honey super.
A honey super?
Yeah, super being over. So the brood, these will raise their brood in roughly this area, these 3 boxes. And then what that usually means, well, in a perfect world, because bees do exactly
these bees
what
around
you want them
Evans.
to, is they'll take any excess nectar and honey that they find, they'll store it up above, and that's what we take to the beekeeper. Well, I've already filled all this with honey for their food, so they have enough to eat, and we can take this for our own use.
Oh, so the top is kind of that's the part you really want.
Yeah, and this kind of hive is called a Langstroth hive.
I'm sorry, say it again?
It's a Langstroth hive.
Langstroth.
And it was invented by a priest named Langstroth back in the 1800s, which was the design that revolutionized beekeeping and turned it into an industry like it is today, because all of these frames are designed with a bee space in mind, meaning 3/8 inch of space between. The bees don't fill it up with wax. And so Lorenzo Langstroth discovered that dimension and started designing these frames so that you could reuse them and move them around. In the old days, they used to have to just crush up all the comb and then start over. But by this developing, we can move the frames around in the hive as we see necessary as beekeepers. And this right here, it's all honey.
Oh wow, that looks delicious already, huh?
Yeah, it's not quite done yet. They're curing it. So they bring it in and they dehydrate it. Right now they're eating it because I gave them some smoke. You got too close up. You can kind of see all the bees.
You kind of see a lot of the honey.
That's super cool.
Man, that actually looks pretty. Yeah, you could eat it.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll let you guys stick your finger in and taste some before the end of the day. So now,
bring on the honey.
That is capped, so that honey's ready. What the bees do is they dehydrate the honey so that it's less than 18.1% water. That way it doesn't ferment and it doesn't allow for mold or bacteria or anything. So here's some pollen. You can see the yellow stuff in there, and orange stuff. That's pollen interspersed with that wax. And they're getting ready to finish this box off. I think the next one might be fully complete.
They go in order?
Not necessarily. Right now I'm just making sure that there's no brood up top here, that the queen hasn't come up here and laid eggs. Yeah. Because if she does that, then I have to wait for those brood to go out before I can actually harvest this honey. And this isn't quite ready. It's like right there. There's some, those are drone brood, and the reason I know this is because they actually stand up and out. Here are some drones here.
Oh, you see the larva.
They got torn
Let's get a close up of that. So that's the larva right there, the drones.
Yeah. Look at those drones right there.
See the larvae, they're not quite developed yet. Unfortunately, now they're done. Well, they will die. They're not dead yet.
Alright. So you gotta take those off so that you can get the honey going on.
Well, yeah, they're not quite there yet, but right there is a Varroa destructor mite, right there.
A mite?
Right there.
Oh, yeah. That's bad. That's
a bad thing. They feed off of developing larvae, or they breed inside the cells with developing larvae, and they feed off of adult bees, but they're really, the main problem is they're vectors for diseases, like deformed wing viruses and other things like that. So these bees haven't been treated since last fall, so that's why you can see drones, or see mites. So I'll have to treat
Brad,
them.
the other question that just came up was about the murder hormones.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is that something that you're worried about?
Yes. Just one more thing to be worried about. But right now, there's no significant population of those that we know of. But if you find them, you've got to notify the state agriculture department, because they will come out and try to locate the colony and eradicate it.
Okay. So hopefully we don't find any, but if you do,
don't try to do
call
anything
the
with
Department of Agriculture.
They're dangerous because they're a lot more venom than a honeybee, and that's what makes them dangerous. So, and they can sting multiple times. What I'm doing here is inspecting to make sure that we have a queen and that the hive is healthy.
He's trying to make sure that he's got a queen, so he's
First,
just looking.
I'm also looking to.
This queen will mark red.
So just that whole box right there has one queen in it.
Yes, there are times when there are more than one queen, but that's usually during swarm season or when a queen is actually getting older and starts losing her fertility, and then they'll make a new queen. And so sometimes you'll have a mother and a daughter queen side by side in the hive until the old queen is dispensed with.
Nice.
Right here is some drones that are emerging.
Oh yeah.
There's a drone coming out right there.
Right there, yeah.
Oh, I got another question. Let's just see what that is.
Right there.
What is in the smoke? That's a good question. We were talking about that earlier. I don't know if the sound is good enough, but the smoke is from food grade burlap sacks.
It's in coffee,
mostly
right?
Coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
So that's a brand new one.
And the smoke just
This is the smoke.
basically calms down the bees
It's a new drone right there.
and prevents them from stinging.
The guy's working his way out.
How do you tell
Worried
if it's
about
new?
being
So here's the smoke.
Well,
really, it's about
Smoke kind of calms them down so they don't sting anybody, especially us.
so
a whole bunch of them emerging.
you want to make sure that the bees don't
Oh, look there.
sting you, so that
Yeah.
they survive.
There's that.
Did you find the queen?
Right here. No. It's just more
A
drones.
worker and two
Oh,
drones
yeah.
emerging.
Let's see if I
Same
can
time.
get a good.
The one on the
close-up of
bottom
it.
right is a worker, I guess, right?
Can you put your finger towards it, Sally, so I can see? Because I can't see it very well. Oh yeah, I can see your finger. There we go.
Worker and then two drones.
Worker and two drones. Nice.
See, the brand new bees like these two,
Oh,
they're
the worker just came out.
where she's right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's almost
she's
done.
kind of fuzzy. See how fuzzy she is compared to that? These that look a little bit more shiny. That's how you can tell a new bee, because they're really fuzzy and then they kind of stumble around like they've been drinking alcohol or something. A little punch drunk, as we say.
Nice.
And so these drones, right here, that's a new one. He's kind of stumbling around. He's really fuzzy still. That one too.
You're just getting used to things.
Yep, just like babies learning to walk. Oh, and that worker just came out. Where'd she go? She's there. She is right there. Brand new.
That's really neat.
Yep.
Are you going to go through the whole hive to find the queen?
I'm going to find signs of a queen.
Okay.
So what that means is I need to find eggs. Right now I see lots of bees and capped brood, but no eggs. So, and now I found eggs. So right here, it'll be really hard to see on the camera, but you guys can see with your eye. There's, in the bottom of these cells, you'll see what looks like a little tiny piece of rice.
Little tiny piece of rice. All right. I'm going to go side by side here. You see little tiny pieces of rice, guys?
It's really hard to see them with the camera,
Yeah.
but they're in there.
Yeah, you can see them with your naked eye. Even I can with my old eyes. So that means we have a queen. So really now what are we looking
So
for?
if we have eggs, what that means is that we have a queen, which is a good sign.
That means the queen has been there at least in the last 2 days.
Okay. So it's really just about the health of the hive,
Yeah.
making sure that everybody's happy.
And I'm also looking for swarm cells because it's swarm season. This
What
is-
are swarm cells?
Swarm cells are what bees make when it's, so let's go back a little bit. A swarm is a natural reproductive process in a honeybee colony.
get a swarm is a natural reproductive system.
Yeah, colony reproduction. So, when this time of year in particular, when there is lots of food, and then they're crowded, that's when they know, oh, we can now split the colony in half. So what they do is they start to put the queen on a diet and put her on a workout regimen to make her lose a little bit of weight. And I'm not kidding, they really do that because she needs to be able to fly. And so once they start doing that, then the workers start to select larvae and make them into queens. And the difference between what a queen and a worker is what they're fed. So the first 2 days after hatching, a larva is fed, all larvae are fed the same thing, which is royal jelly. And royal jelly is a secretion out of a gland in the back of their head here called, I can't remember.
Royal jelly?
Royal jelly.
Royal jelly. Wow.
It's like milk.
Yeah.
Really high in fat and protein. And so they feed that to all, but if they decide that one is going to be a queen and one is going to be a worker, they switch the diet of the workers. So the workers get fed what is called bee bread, and it's a mixture of honey, pollen, and lactobacillus bacteria, so it kind of ferments.
Ooh,
and
bacteria.
Yeah, and they feed that to the developing larvae.
That's what that is.
They don't feed, but all they feed the queens is just pure royal jelly. And with that's just so rich. You notice the queen we saw earlier, how much bigger she was? Well, that's what happens. She grows larger, and her reproductive organs fully develop. So right here's a cup that they're trying to turn into a queen cell, but I'm going to check it to see if there's actually a larva in there.
And if there is?
So right now, there's nothing in there. It's just, they're just waiting. They're trying to, you'd see an egg in there or a larva. Right now there's nothing in there. So that's just, they're getting ready. They want to swarm, but they got to get the queen to lay an egg in there. So I'm just checking for swarm cells right now on the bottom. Because typically swarm cells will be right near the bottom, and you'll be able to see them if they're there.
Have you gotten stung yet?
Not yet. But boy, let me tell you, I've taken it to those bees.
Look at all of them. I don't know how close we can get, but
Pretty close. Here, let me grab this. So I'm going to move this button and prop this box open and do a check for a swarm cell.
I'm holding very still.
That's a good thing to do.
You are getting. That's not too bad.
So this is the bottom set of, what are they called?
Frames.
Frames.
There's the first sting.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
So there it is. Here's the stinger. Here's how you deal with it. Scrape it off. Don't squeeze it. Scrape it off. Because if you squeeze it, you end up pinching that little sac. Right there. There's a little sac, and it should be pumping. The muscle in it. So yeah, it's pumping. If you look real close, it's actually. So if that stinger stays in, and you squeeze it, you end up pushing all that venom into your hand.
Another question here is, how much honey do the bees make each year?
A strong colony in a perfect situation will produce probably around 100 pounds of honey.
100 pound of honey.
100 pounds.
A year.
What do you call? Is this whole thing a colony? Or
Yeah, this whole stack is one colony.
Oh, so just this stack will make 100 pounds of honey?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, you start doing the math on 40, 50, 60, 70 hives, and you start getting into the thousands of pounds.
So with yours, you could potentially get 1,500 pounds of honey?
Oh yeah, and I have more hives than this too.
Oh, you do?
Last year I got over a ton of honey.
Whoa.
This year I hope to double that.
Would that be an imperial ton or a metric ton?
A metric, no, imperial, 2,000 U.S. pounds, not imperial pounds. I don't know what the difference. There's a difference. It's all.
We're metric in the science world, so.
Yeah, I haven't done those conversions. When I was young, they were still really gung-ho about American standard measurements, and so metrics was something we didn't really dig into too much, even though I prefer it because it's base 10.
Yeah.
And it's very
Look
sensitive.
at those guys. That is so cool.
So yeah, this is much. Go ahead and just.
Brad is now scooping them on there. They don't seem to be too bothered by that.
Just go gently. See, they're not too mad.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right on. Oop.
I just don't want to
Got the magic touch.
We don't want to squish too many of them.
Yeah, so I want to get them off this edge here. Because you'll squish a lot of them.
Is this one doing the pheromone thing?
Yep. Because
Look at those bees. There they are.
Dad, look at this one's doing the pheromone.
Oh yeah. So
Fanning.
that one right there in the center of the screen is fanning, and he's producing pheromones so that any lost bees know where he is.
Yeah. Plus,
And he definitely did not just get crushed.
I just
Fine. He's fine. But yeah, that's what they do. Oh no.
try not to squish them, but it happens.
Sorry we ducked out there. I think my phone might be overheating again.
All right. Hey, everybody, we're going to call it. That's been pretty fun. It is hot. We're getting swarmed. Evans?
Yeah, this is super cool, man. I want my own beehive.
Taking us on a tour of your hives.
Yeah, this has
you're
been
welcome.
great, man.
I'm gonna get out of the way. I don't want to be in the way.
I can put you guys to work. If you want.
Hey, I'll work.
I'll find you guys some honey here.
We're gonna taste some honey.
Woohoo! Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah. Is that a good one? They're all good ones, I'm sure, but oh man, that didn't sound good. They sounded upset with that.
They don't like that. But go ahead and just poke your finger in there. Take a taste.
Literally?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just wherever, you know, if you wanted the cap stuff right there is all ready to go. Just poke your finger in. Just crush it. There you go.
Whoa.
That's maple honey.
That's
Should I
Oh
go the
my
same hole, or
goodness.
does it matter?
that's mesmerizing.
No wonder bears love this stuff. Oh, man. That
Oh my
is
God.
delicious.
Yeah, it's some of the best honey I've ever had is the maple stuff. We don't get much of it because the weather
Oh
isn't
my
always
god, that's
popular.
amazing.
It's really, really good.
I better get in on that too. Jeez.
You recording this, right?
Yep.
Here.
That is delicious.
Do you want me to hold it?
Oh, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much better is that than store-bought honey?
Oh, this is
100?
100. This is it's literally fresh. I'm
can't-
eating it out of the comb.
Yeah.
I can't believe how heavy it is.
Oh man,
That's really good stuff.
that even has a little bit of a hint of maple flavor.
Yeah.
These bees are here.
That is amazing. Yeah, I'll do it a little. And they're gonna figure it out.
And so, what's this material?
That's wax.
Just wax?
It's all wax. Yeah.
It's wax, okay.
All right, last one. I don't wanna overwork the bees.
I do.
Go ahead, man.
Just get a little bit more.
It really is so good.
All right.
That's yummy stuff.
It is as good as we're saying, and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're smart,
You're gonna have to get some
if
from
you're
Brad.
smart, you'll buy some from Brad.
Yeah, no kidding.
There.
Thanks
for joining us. That was super cool. Thanks to
Thanks, Brad.
You're
Helping
welcome.
us out.
our
So.
behind-the-scenes videographer, Sahali.
Yeah, come buy some honey. Markets are shut down right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy it online.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.